Okay, I have a microphone. All right. I hello YouTube. Hello. This is my third live, I believe. I'm getting the gist of it. So, as I get myself out of my work clothes, there's something I want to talk about. Following in our parents' footsteps. So, human babies. So I'm told when I walk away with this microphone, you can still hear me. Human babies are, of all creatures in the world, the human babies adapt to their environments. So a baby is born with a fresh page, blank page. And as they grow up, they adapt to their surroundings. They adapt to the people that are around them, your parents, your sisters, your brothers, your aunties, your uncles. So anyway, so the easiest example that comes to mind every time I think about this is rich people's kids grow up to be rich. Average people's kids grow up to be average. And the everything else, the and vice versa. Because this is what you've grown up seeing, so it's all you know. You grow up to become that. Anyway, and then there's something called generational trauma. So, aside from growing up to emulate your surroundings and your environments and everybody around you, you also acquire any trauma that has gone through your family, especially your mother. You acquire your mother's past traumas from the womb as a baby. And remember, your mother was once a child as well. She was once in her mother's womb. So she acquired her mother's traumas. So hence generational trauma. But that doesn't mean that that's the end of the world for you. Like that doesn't have to be imprinted on you for the rest of your life, which is why we have like personal growth and development, and you basically grow up and decide what you want to become, what kind of life you want to live, which is why it's very important to focus on what you want and not what you don't want. So the same thing applies to relationships. The relationships you grow up experiencing are the relationships you grow up to create as well as an adult. So if you're in a situation where you're in a relationship that you don't that's not your ideal relationship, that's not your dream relationship, what are you doing about it? As long as you're still alive, there's something you can do about it. If something is not your ideal, your dream relationship, because I don't understand why we have to comply to things that we don't want. When you decide that this is not the kind of relationship you want to lead, that you want to experience in your life, it is time for you to go back to the drawing board and decide what kind of relationship you want to experience in this lifetime. So, that being said, what are you doing about it? My suggestion is they in my language they say tebamukupimaako bw'oba nga omuntu gw'oli naye si gw'oyagala okubeera naye, bw'oba nga the relationship you're experiencing is not the relationship you want to experience, it is not measured on you. Direct translation. All right. So it wasn't written in the books that that's the relationship that you will have for the rest of your life, that you are doomed. No. So what I say you need to do is decide. Decide on the kind of relationship you want to experience, right? And take time, take it easy, give yourself grace. Don't go into a blaming, don't spiral into the blame game. Because if you had known better, you would have done better. Because many a times we get married for the wrong reasons. We get married because it's time to get married. Where I come from, in my family, you go to school, you graduate, you find a job, you get married, you give birth, right? And that's the normal order. But who said you have to be normal? You can decide to be abnormal. You can decide to be abnormal. So decide on what you want and go for it. Go for it shamelessly. Go for it knowing you have Go for it knowing you have God on your side. Turn to God for guidance. As you pray, be intentional about your prayer. Be intentional about what you want your life to look like. Because the life that you're leading right now, there is a saying that goes, your mindset shapes your outcome. So your physical surroundings are a representation of your mind. So the relationship that you're in right now is the relationship that you think you deserve. But if you're not happy and you want change, you look at someone else that has a relationship that's your dream relationship, and you're like, oh, I wish that was me. It can be you. The decision is yours. Your physical surroundings represent your mindset. So whatever you have in your mind is what you're extracting onto your outside. For example, for those of us that are single mothers, you might have a mindset that reads, who's going to take me? Who's going to love me with my children? Who's going to provide fully for me with my children? And halas, whatever the men that approach you are the unavailable men, are the men that um are the men that disrespect you, are the men that openly tell you that, well, you have a whole lot of baggage. I don't see any other man that's going to love you the way that I love you. Run. If he has the ability to tell you that nonsense, he's not worthy of your time, babe. He's really not worthy of your time. I say this time and time again, not to disrespect men, but to empower women. I say this time and time again. You can count the number of men you know that stay single for a long time. You can count them on your finger. And when you look at their lives, those men that have stayed single for long, they be depressed. But when a woman is newly single and has found her voice and is like, that's why you see a lot of women are in their single era, because they're rediscovering themselves. And I say this to say that we are the powerful species. We are the more powerful species. Embrace your feminine energy. There is nothing wrong with you being a woman. Yes, you can do whatever a man can do, but you don't have to. There's a reason why it ends up being that a woman does a job faster and easier, because our brains are built to think in different directions at the same time, but then men's brains are not built like that. So bank on your your strengths. Bank on your power. There is nothing wrong with embracing your power. Embracing your power doesn't mean that you're going to take down men. Embracing your power doesn't mean that you're going to try and disrespect the men. No, you're just embracing your power. Get used to the fact that you're a powerful being. You create life in your womb. You co-create with God. God creates through you. Okay? So if you don't see your power, you're only going to attract the people that also don't see your power. But what you attract, what you are. So when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, you give yourself empowering statements before you walk out of the door. You build your self-esteem up. You boost yourself up. You boost your self-confidence up before you get into the world. You'll see how the world reacts to you. Anyway, your life is an unwritten book. It's an open book. It's a blank canvas that you can decide to write any story that you want to write. So what is it you want to become? Be clear on what you want to become. Embrace the mighty power of Allah, of God, and reach out to God. Seek God's guidance, however small it may be, however small you think a situation, however minor a situation you might think a situation is. You don't need to always engage your brain. You really don't need to always engage your brain. You need to turn to Allah. You need to turn to your Creator and ask Him for guidance. He's always ready and open to guide you. Remember that there's a law. One of the universal laws is the law of free will. And even God doesn't take away your free will. Because you see, for example, there's a rule that Muslims are not supposed to drink alcohol. But then you find Muslims that drink alcohol. It's a rule that's there. You're supposed to pray 5 times a day. It's there. But then God won't force you to do it. You do it out of your free will. Even God doesn't embark on your free will. He doesn't impose, He doesn't impose on your free will. So you have to turn to Him and ask for the guidance that you need in this moment, in this period of your life. Okay? So figure out what you need. Following in your parents' footsteps. It can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. If you're not liking your results so far, you're not liking where your life is right now, the power is in you. Go ahead and figure out what you want. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Welcome to the gang. Subscribe for I talk about mostly relationship content, empowering relationship content. My name is Hidayah and I am a feminine relationship coach. I love saying that. A feminine relationship coach, and I'm so happy and excited to take you on a journey where we create joyful relationships, where we create relationships that we're in love with, relationships that create bliss for us in our lives. And remember that the power is in you. The power lies in you. You are the power. You're powerful. You're magnificent. You're worthy. You're enough. And I love you. Bye.